it's Saitama vs Genos round 2. Dude, when I started reading this, I got so insanely hyped. This standoff right here just felt like Goku vs Vegeta in the Saiyan saga to me. There's just so many elements of it. Genos like shows off his new upgrades. I made a couple videos recently showing how he keeps getting these upgrades and he's more and more OP. We've seen his strength just continue to increase in his quest to catch up to Saitama. And now he wants to test, has he caught up? Has he closed the gap between Saitama and Genos? Has it closed it all? We're gonna find out in this chapter. But before we jump into that, a quick message from our sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Mech Arena, the insanely fun, free-to-play mech shooter where you log in on your phone and jump straight into the warfare. Build and customize your mech with different abilities and weapons, and then blast into the arena where your 5 mechs will battle against the enemy team of 5 mechs. There's other game modes as well, like Control and Deathmatch. But the cool thing is the game will match you with players of your skill level. And one of the coolest features about Mech Arena is the weekly tournaments. These competitions will let you compete against others and earn some really nice rewards to upgrade your mechs and weapons. You can change your skins and the colors of your mechs as well. Build a mech that matches your playstyle. For me, I love shotguns. I like getting in close and personal, and that's perfect in Mech Arena for me because you can dash right into the enemy's face and blast them with your cannons, inflicting insane amounts of damage. But if you want to play like a coward, you can build a laser wall and snipe people from behind it. You can get some free Pride themed skins this month, and if you use my personal link or scan the QR code you're seeing right now, get a free starter pack worth $15, a Prodigy crate, 300 A coins, and Pulse Cannon 4 to help kickstart your game. Join me in game today by following my username Mastar and checking out my player ID. So download Mech Arena with the link in the description and start playing today with me and your friends. So the chapter opens up, Genos finally visits Saitama's new home in the hero headquarters, and we get this comical little exchange where Saitama's new house is very, very tiny, but specifically he asked for that on purpose. He doesn't need a lot of room, he says. It makes him feel more at ease, and Genos wants to move in. And it's funny because Genos wants to like move in and live with Saitama, I guess like he did in Saitama's previous apartment. And Saitama's like, wait, there's not enough room for both of us here, I don't think. Genos just huddling down in a corner. He's like, I'll just be a decoration. I'll just be a plant. You can just ignore me. So after the comical stuff, Genos wants to challenge Saitama again. And oh boy. They go over to this rocky landscape. It seems like basically the same spot from their first encounter. And before they begin, they discuss the rise in monsters that have been appearing lately. Both of them pretty much have been heavy at work because there's so many monsters. And I believe that this is due to either the Hero Association letting monsters out of their basement on purpose, or it has something to do with Bofoy and the Mad Cyborg releasing all these enhanced monsters all over the place. But that is going to be a recurring theme of this arc, just the increase in the emergency of the amount of monsters that are popping up all over the place. So we get the standoff. Saitama versus Genos. Genos in his sparkling new battle suit, which is incredibly powerful. And like when I first flipped the page and saw this, like, dude, I got so hyped. To me, this felt like Goku versus Vegeta standing off in the Saiyan saga, right? Like, even if you take a look at some of the panels and put them like side by side, I don't know if this is supposed to be an homage. At least I personally felt like this was an homage to it, in a sense. I mean, obviously Saitama's unbeatable, but Genos just straight up activates the Kaioken, dude. Like, he unlocks his battle suit and releases like a ton of his power, and he uses an ability called Lightning Core. And what this is supposed to do is, it's a Taioken from Dragon Ball. I mean, it's just a straight up solar flare, and he's trying to blind Saitama, or at least blind his opponent, so he can come in with the most insano mode punch possible. Genos launches in at Saitama and throws a crazy punch right at his face. You can feel the speed coming off this character, and Saitama hasn't even opened his eyelids yet. But Genos stops right before he hits Saitama, and you see the surrounding damage that it caused. It's the exact same as Saitama throwing his death punch at Genos in episode 5. Now, interestingly, in the anime of One Punch Man, they added the destruction to the mountains behind Genos, but in the manga, the punch just made a massive smoke cloud, very similar to the strength that Genos just displayed. So is this saying that Genos has the strength of a death punch now? I mean, maybe not, but he definitely got a massive upgrade in power. I mean, his power has absolutely skyrocketed since the beginning of the series. Like, he is an actual contender now, and we're not really seeing him lose and get broken and beaten up like he did with the Sea King anymore. I mean, he's pretty much just been melting every monster he comes in contact with at this point. But another reason why Genos stopped his punch is because Saitama didn't flinch, and to him, that was enough to show him that the gap between the two of them has not shrunk at all. Maybe it was like too bright for Saitama that he actually couldn't open his eyes, but at least Genos interprets this as he could have opened his eyes at any point. He's just being Saitama. He didn't defend himself because Genos is no threat to him. He feels like even after everything he's accomplished since the beginning of the series and all the upgrades he's had, he hasn't even closed the gap at all. Like, Saitama's power is so unfathomably strong that even for Genos, probably a mid-tier S rank at this point, is like a fly to him, and like it's literally nothing. And he's correct, but I didn't really get the feeling that that's why Saitama kept his eyes closed. Like, the bright light should still kind of blind him, right? Now, Saitama can't even really tell if Genos got stronger either, because he's Saitama, like, nobody can hurt him, right? So if you don't feel pain and you can't take damage, how are you supposed to know if someone has gotten stronger if they're fighting you, right? And Genos wants to know, Master Saitama, like, do you think I've got stronger? And Saitama's like, well, you changed your parts a few times, right? Like, I guess that means you've got stronger, didn't you? And I think Saitama starts to realize that Genos is kind of feeling hopeless at this point, so he tries to encourage him with some words of a sensei, saying, whether or not you've gotten stronger, you've at least gotten brighter. We get a really interesting tidbit of information in this chapter, probably the biggest piece of information, and that's that the entire series of One Punch Man has taken place in 2 months. So this is very wide. I mean, you'd think that there would be like years from this point, but it's not. It's been 2 months. Man, time goes slow in the One Punch Man universe. But the reason for this is because of Shibawawa's prophecy. When she said that the god level threat will come in 6 months, now we have a timeline. The entire series has only taken 2 months, so unless we get some sort of time skip, a couple things could happen here. We could basically have the entire series ×2 until we get to the final arc. So maybe this is a hint that the God arc is like really far away, and One and Murata plan to continue this series for another 20 years. Potentially, I mean, unless there's some sort of time skip. But I think, to me, what this primarily is telling us is that we haven't seen the God level threat. The Shibawawa prophecy is important because that's signaling the final fight of the series, and we're only a third of the way there. That's how I interpret this. So Genos goes on to tell Saitama that he feels stagnant in the Hero Association. Like, even if he's in the top 10, he still can't get close to Saitama. It's not really doing anything for him anymore. I guess initially he thought, if I can rise the ranks of the Hero Association, I can get stronger and finally catch up to Saitama, but it's been 2 months and that hasn't happened yet. So he's kind of reevaluating, and he goes on to tell Saitama about the Neo Heroes, the new group of heroes that is poaching a lot of the heroes from the Hero Association. They have better benefits, they got these crazy battle suits, they got all this stuff. And Genos goes on this long exposition. I don't want to get too much into it. It's a lot of information we know about why the Neo Hero Association is kind of just is being put together at this point. Lack of trust in the Hero Association, Tatsumaki blowing stuff up, no repercussions, right? And that they already have 2,000 heroes and the Hero Association only has 600. So another interesting piece of information, if you ever wondered how many heroes there are, now we know. Genos wants to join the Neo Heroes because he thinks that with all of the strong fighters that the Neo Heroes have, it could help Genos get stronger by competing with them. So Saitama asks, well, the whole reason you want to get stronger is because of this mad cyborg, this rampaging cyborg that destroyed your town, right? Genos saying yes, and his true identity is unknown. He took everything from me 4 years ago. So Saitama's like, well, what if someone destroyed him already? And Genos goes in his computer mode, saying that if the mad cyborg was destroyed, there would be some sort of evidence of it, and there has been none. But he also mentions during that same time period, there was a particularly vicious monster. So I'm wondering, what is this vicious monster they just dropped on us? Is it Bad Dragon? Is it something else I'm missing? If I'm missing it and you guys know, please leave it in the comments below, educate me. And Saitama's like, well, what if I killed it? But if it was 4 years ago, Saitama hadn't lost his hair yet. I don't even think he started training yet, so it couldn't have been Saitama 4 years ago. And Genos is like, well, he's so powerful that if you would have fought him, you would remember. And Saitama's like, I don't know about that. I can't really remember any of the monsters I killed. Damn, you don't even remember Boros, dude? That's crazy. So Saitama asks, are you sure you can beat the Mad Cyborg? And Genos says, I'm not sure yet, that's why I need to get stronger, that's why I'm going to join the Neo Heroes. And Saitama just says, okay, good luck with that then. Love this chapter, dude. And so Genos tries to recruit Saitama to the Neo Heroes, and Saitama just straight up denies it and says, no, that's too much work. And then Genos immediately says, okay, I won't join them either. So that was absolutely hysterical. Base Genos. Love the comical interactions between these two. I mean, the writing is just so good. And yeah, that's the end of the chapter. So heavy exposition chapter, but we did get some great pieces of information. The entirety of the series is only 2 months. There's 600 heroes in the Hero Association and 2,000 in the Neo Heroes. Other than that, we didn't really learn too much besides the fact that Genos has some crazy firepower in his arsenal right now. I mean, he basically mimicked Saitama's death punch. So that's crazy. That's the end of the chapter. I can't wait to see the next one. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Leave a like, and I'll see you on the next one.